And good morning. Welcome to BCB Live. We're going to keep talking about this week, about freight, what's going on in our market. We want to make sure that we know what's happening. And as we see the stock market kind of, jump up yesterday based on earnings. You hear a lot of shock right now regarding to the trucking industry. You see some folks that were surprised that Martin Transportation, for example, had a great second quarter. And if you remember going back to January, February, heck, if we remember going into last year, probably September on, we spoke on BCB Live about year over year and what that means. And if you recall, the larger carriers, and for the big boys out there, the brokers out there, for the large trucking companies, or anybody over, say, 200 trucks or greater that has that customer base, I'm on your side right now. Because we hear it from the banks, we hear it from Wall Street, we hear from these things, well, anybody and everybody should have made money, and that's not the case. So here we go, we're backing up again. So last year, and after September, we were talking on the show that, year over year numbers, okay, so that means January of 21 to July of 21, the bet was this, that the big boys, that the larger carriers, that the brokers that are out there had fixed their rates last year. So that means that every lane, the broker went back, the carrier went back and raised the rates. And it takes a little while for rates to go up. It takes a little while for those rates to be final contracted rates. And last year we saw crazy spot market rates, but we also saw those carriers take the time to put in those rate increases for the new tractors, for the new trailers, for that driver payroll, for 2022, and to understand what's going to go on 2023. The larger carriers, larger brokers, they really did go in there and do that. So when you go back and you look at January of 21 through July of 21, you saw rates way down here, right? Because they were putting in those increases last year. And then all of a sudden, they got the rates put in, $285 or whatever a mile in September, October of last year. And what do you know? That means that from January of 22 till July of 22, for example, July 1st, that the rates that were input were significantly higher than last year. The year-over-year numbers that these trucking companies are going to produce this year, and you're going to see from most, are still going to be pretty daggum good. Listen, there's only a certain amount of capacity out there. There's still, and we talk about, well, there's not that much freight. If you believe at all what I've been telling you, what I've been showing you, is that freight today is still higher than it's historically been, except for last year. Those that are gonna hurt, and I'm gonna say it again, are those independent contractors, especially those folks that went out and bought equipment last year. And I'm not just talking trailers, I'm talking trucks. Those that went for that American dream last year and bought on what undoubtedly will be year over year higher prices than we would have ever seen. I mean, we saw in March of this year, the truck pricing for the 3, 5, 7-year trucks at the highest ever. I'm talking the highest ever. At 60, 70% higher than they had been the year before, the year before that, or the year before that, significantly higher. And people bought that equipment, and then the rates happened, right? Rates went down. All of a sudden, and they didn't go down significantly, but fuel went up. That cost that independent contractor went up. I'm going to see if I can log in here. I had it and it just went out on me. Here we go. So I'm going to show you a couple of things here to maybe help illustrate what I'm trying to say. All right. If we go back and we look at the rate per mile on the contracted side, when I began this conversation, I was talking about the larger trucking company, those that had that asset, maybe even the brokers that raised rates from last year. All right, this is from 2021. Let me make sure here. Here we go. All right, so here's the difference in what we're seeing right now. If you go back, and on the blue line here is the contracted rates. The carriers over the last year increased their rates per mile, and boy, this isn't going to show me anything. It's already declined. It refreshed. I'm going to have to show you back something else. Bring it to me. What I'm going to show you, maybe I'll just take the time and show it to you again tomorrow. But what I want to show you, I'm going to compare the rates from 2021, from January through July of 2021, and show you what that looks like compared to 2022. It's crazy difference on those contracted rates. Let me tell you that those companies, the U.S. Expresses, I'm going to go back to you, my friends at U.S. Express, because I need you to have a good quarter. My guys at U.S. Express, that year over year, they have to do better than they did last year. Because last year's rates were just getting worked on by those contracted carriers. They were just getting in place, and it took some a lot longer than others to get those in place. They will continue to have a great year. The independent contractor, again, is going to struggle the remainder of the year. I don't see how there's any help for them unless fuel goes down. Fuel is the kicker, the big difference maker that will help these independent contractors, the large trucking companies. You out there spending money, if you don't have to spend it on fuel, hey, guess what? You can order that refrigerator, that washer, that dryer, and get it shipped into here. Get it shipped. That's what creates that truckload for the carriers. We have Dale coming up next. Double check Dale. We are going to talk weather today. Maybe we got a little surprise. Looked like we had some rain up in that northeast yesterday. Double check Dale coming up next on BCB Live, the safest station in the nation.
Welcome back to BCB Live, the safest station in the nation. Hey, you got Double Check Dale here talking a little bit of weather. We're going to start with some wind gusts first. We do have an area of some pretty strong gusts up in North Dakota, South Dakota, Minnesota area. And as we go through the day, they do get a little bit stronger. And some of those gusts are going to be 35 to 40 mile an hour. Starts to shift a little bit over to the east into Wisconsin and Michigan. Northern Illinois, northern Indiana is going to see some stronger winds and some stronger gusts by this afternoon. So that's one of the areas. And then this afternoon around 2 o'clock, we have a little pocket of very strong winds in the southwest corner of Oklahoma, right where it meets Texas. But all the winds start to dissipate, and by 11 o'clock this evening, really nothing going on there. As far as rain and thunder goes today, really a quiet day as far as the storms, the severe storms go. Right now we have a little bit of a disturbance there in eastern Tennessee, right above Georgia, but that doesn't last very long. And as we move through the day, just nothing major. There's some showers that pop up in South Carolina, Georgia, out in Colorado, but none of them look like they're going to do anything severe. And then this evening, the same thing, some showers along the Gulf Coast, Atlantic Coast, Denver and Albuquerque, New Mexico, maybe getting some showers, parts of Ohio getting wet this evening, but none of them look like they're going to be the severe ones with the strong wind. I'm going to take a look at, see if we can find some weather warnings for you, because there is some We take a look at this map right here. This large area of yellow and orange, that is an excessive heat warning for today, all the way through 9 o'clock this evening. So if you're in that area, just be aware it's excessive heat warning. That's high temperatures with higher humidity. You know, it's going to feel like 110, 112 in a lot of those areas. So really be aware of how much water, your hydration, not overexerting yourself if you get winded or if you're not feeling well. Take a break, get into some shade, get in a cooler area, and you know, rest up, because those temperatures are very, very dangerous. With that, we'll take a short break and come back and talk safety.
This segment has been brought to you by Utility ProWear. Utility ProWear manufactures high quality, ANSI certified, high visibility apparel for both men and women. Infused with the Teflon fabric protector, Utility ProWear gives you the added benefit of providing a barrier to liquids, dirt, and grime, keeping you cleaner longer, brighter longer, and therefore safer longer. Get your high visibility apparel by going to utilityprowear.com. Use the code BCB20 at checkout for an exclusive discount.
All right, welcome back, and thank you for watching BCB Live. The commercial is brought to you by Utility ProWear, and I want to give them some kudos real quick, because what they do out there producing an ANSI certified shirts, safety equipment, is they do their part to make sure that you, the driver, you, the construction worker, you, the pet owner, daylight, nighttime, that you're seen. And Dale, when we think about being seen, you know, I see you with your that, and it is bright. Let me tell you something. But you want to be seen, right? Isn't that the almost not the sole purpose, but 90% of the value of these things is so you're seen and possibly not hit, not ran over.
Yeah, I mean, to be seen and to get the attention of it, and that's what those bright colors do, the reflective stuff, the reflective strips do, is they get the attention, they catch the eye, and so hopefully if you weren't looking for it, it kind of looks like, oh, there's something to be aware of. You know, and this week we're talking about the acronym SMART. And today we're on A. It's anticipate actions. And yesterday we talked about measure your risk, but you have to anticipate the action. As you're looking around, getting that big picture, you're seeing the car coming up really fast. Well, anticipate what's he going to do. Is he going to cut you off? Know your blind spots. If you recognize a blind spot, what's in it? Make sure that you're looking at it. You have to be able to anticipate. You have to read the signs of others, because, you know, people out there in their cars, they communicate. If you see a car weaving a little bit, hey, are they on a cell phone doing something? Are they distracted? You're aware of that. You have to anticipate their actions. And so, you know, that's the A for today.
All right, like it. And distractions, they're real. The A is important. You know, as we go through these acronyms for SMART, we want to encourage you to get to know those and think about ways you can apply those. You know, you've got to use these things to help you, whether it's scanning, right?
Yep.
You know, to look out ahead, find things that when you're looking around, you're scanning your area. And I can't help but think about all of this, you know, and how it really talks to situational awareness, is that knowing the area you're in right now, how critical that is.
Yeah, and if you don't know the area, it becomes even more critical that you're getting that big picture, that you're scanning, because you're in a new area. Now you got to start recognizing and looking for those distractions, or for those intersections, or for the crazy stuff that goes on out there. So you just really always have to see that big picture, scan, be aware of it, and then know your risk, you know, and anticipate.
Yes, you do. All right, it is video time here on
right.
BCB Live, and here we go, video number one. Dale, what do we got?
This one looks like we're probably following too close, right? You know, and that's the same thing. You know, we see this a lot. And when we follow too close, we don't have an out. You know, one of the good things here, I believe, you know, we start to build a little space by the end of it. And that's what we need to do. We just got to recognize, and we got to take that action and quicker. As soon as we recognize a situation, whether it be following too close, speeding, whatever, we've got to take corrective action.
Yeah, whether it's in-cab coaching or whether it's you just counting, when you recognize and realize, and again, I see the speed limit looks like it's 60 or 65 right there. We're driving well under the speed limit. Yeah. That's fine. That's great. Great job on that. You still have to watch the distance. And to your point, Dale, hey, it looks like somebody recognized that perhaps I'm a little too close. Maybe the coaching, maybe the nudging, maybe they were just counting and realized that they were a little close, and they began to back out of it. So critical that we react the right way.
Absolutely.
Next one, stop, still, then stop.
You know, stop means stop it, no matter where we are, no matter
Does
what
it?
time of day. It just.
I mean, if it did, I mean, why don't we stop? I mean, help me out here. I mean, did we not maybe see the stop sign? I mean, we're at an intersection. Did we really think there was no stop sign there?
You know, if we didn't see it, then we're not, you know, we're not getting that big picture. We're not seeing that situational awareness. We're not focusing. We're not looking for all the things, scanning, because that stop sign's pretty visible. It's one of those colors. It's red. It kind of jumps out. We know it. We're at an intersection. You know, so often we just get in a hurry. We think, you know, hey, if we don't come to a complete stop, I'm going to gain, you know, all this time. We don't. We put ourselves in a dangerous situation, and we also break the law.
So I wonder, when I look at some of these videos, I mean, you know, I know that, you know, we're blessed to have companies that can send these in random pictures or videos or whatever. But my assumption would be this, Dale, is that the driver that has this in their truck, do they know that if they run a stop sign that the truck's going to let their company know? Do they know that, you think?
If they don't, shame on that company. I mean, because that should be part of the communication on what alerts all their systems are giving them, whether it be a harsh corner, harsh brake, rolling the stop sign.
So I'm going to just stick with that, because if in fact the driver knows, let's just say he or she knows that, you know what, I have a camera that has the technology that can tell people that I'm speeding, that can tell people that I'm too close, that can tell people I ran a red light, that can tell people I ran a stop sign, that I slow rolled a stop sign, and yet they still do it. I mean, what is that saying? I'm just trying to think that, I mean, if I know that when I make a mistake that it's going to go to the police, why would I still do it, I guess? If I can get ticketed for it, if I can get punished for it, fined for it, or whatever, why would I still do that?
You know, I think part of it's just a habit. You know,
habit of running stop signs?
Habit of slow rolling it. I mean, you know, Rick, I've been guilty of it, and since I started watching these, I really focus on not doing it. And so, you know, whether it's 28 days, 60 days, however long, I'm trying to break myself of that habit that every stop sign, every intersection, I come to that complete stop. And sometimes I think a driver just gets in that habit, he's rolling, looks both ways, thinks it's safe. It's not. It's still breaking the law. You may miss something. You got to give yourself that adequate time to look all directions and make sure that it's clear.
Yeah, and if you make that mistake, and I'm going to go with you, meaning that, you know, when you don't stop, let's face it, you don't see everything. When you stop, it increases your opportunity, because when you stop in your personal car, when you stop in the big truck, it allows the world to stop for that brief moment, and for you to get a scan to make sure that it's good. You get a chance to look for that pedestrian walking, that dog going across, that kid that's in. All of these things, you get a better chance when you're stopped than when you're moving. And when that, you've got to find a way to get that habit in there, because, you know, go back to this video right here. When we're looking at this video here, let's just pretend, unfortunately, maybe there's somebody on a bicycle, and we slow roll and we hit them. I mean, think about this. Is that your company, you as a driver, if you're an owner or operator under your own authority, this video is permissible in court. It's not like you're not going to be able to show it. That attorney's going to subpoena this record, and it's going to show you running the stop sign, hitting the pedestrian, and what are you going to say? I mean, what are you going to say?
Other than I had a bad habit or
I mean,
didn't see them, there's nothing you can say. I mean, it's there.
And it just opens you up to other things. You want to stop. You want these things to go away. You want to make sure that you're stopping, because then it creates a better pattern for you, the independent contractor, you, the driver, you, the trucking company, when you're following the rules. It shows that jury that, you know what, you are doing things to change your habits. You are doing things to improve on your skills.
Yeah, because they're gonna take a look at this video, but they're also going to look for back 30 days or as long as they can, and they're going to, like you said, they're going to try establishing the pattern. The worse the pattern is, the more that they're going to, you know, award to them.
If you're running this stop sign, there's a good chance you've ran 3 or 4, 5, 10 others. Yeah. And they're going to find those.
And they're going to paint you as the villain, the bad person.
And then they're going to go to your company, again, whether you have 2 trucks, 8 trucks, 1,000 trucks, they're going to go there and try to show that it's a pattern within your company. You just want to do these things. Now, we think about things that are controllable versus uncontrollable. Listen, you know, you at the shipper taking 8 hours, there's nothing you can do about that. Yeah. but you absolutely have the control, the ability to stop at a stop sign.
Without
You
a
have
doubt.
that ability.
You're the captain of that
yes,
ship.
You can't. There's nobody to blame. That's on you, and that requires action and just a little action to stop. Next video.
Too fast, too close.
You know, the title says it all, too fast and too close. We know we're over the speed limit a little bit, and we're too close. You know, the first thing we have to do is get at that speed limit. If we're at the speed limit, it probably doesn't happen. We're probably not too close, although we've seen, you know, we can be too close and be under the speed limit, but here's a case, you know, where we're in a hurry. We're going over the speed limit. We're too close behind them. We're not recognizing it. We're not taking that, you know, for the length of this one at least, we're not taking that corrective action, trying to stretch it out, trying to get slowed down and everything. And so, you know, it's that habit, it's that recognizing it. Doesn't make you the worst driver in the world, doesn't even make you a bad driver. It just means that as a driver, you have to become more aware of the situation you're in.
Yep, agree.
Not much of a view.
You know, when we see this, you know, heavy traffic and we're too close, you've taken your outs out away, but you've also taken your view away. You can't see what's going on ahead of us. There's no big picture. We have no idea if traffic is going to come to a quick stop ahead because we're just too close. We've eliminated that big picture. Rick, we got to see that. We got to back off and
agree.
get that big picture.
And what I'm seeing on some of these videos, it makes me wonder is that, well, you know what? I'm only going 55 and the speed limit is 65. Yeah. Am I still too close? And again, I'm going to say yes. And when we have the technology, and I love this technology that we have right here, that once it goes to that red light, here's what we know, is that the driver was then nudged. It was just then, assuming the truck company has these nudges and these coaching on, the driver said, hey, you're just too close. And now what we want to see is better reaction. Is that for 15 seconds at that red mark right there, for 15 seconds you were in an unsafe situation. When the red mark happens, that's when that machine nudges or coaches a driver perhaps to say, hey, you're just too close. And Dale, once again, you know, when you're nudged, when you're asked, and when you're reminded that you're following too close and you don't really back off, I mean, those are concerns.
Yeah. Very, very much so. I mean, because you look at that, if you don't back off, the situation stays the same. You don't have that out. You don't have the time to stop. You've got to take that. You got to correct the situation because you're just leaving yourself in a very unsafe, unproductive, situation right here, Rick.
You have no outs. You have, to your point, you have no idea what's in front of these trucks up ahead of you. You don't know if traffic is stopped. You don't know if there's an accident up there. You don't know if there's some debris in the road that's going to cause one of those vehicles to suddenly stop, veer, make a mistake. And what you want to do in this is make sure that you eliminate the opportunity for an accident. And Dale, all I'm saying, even on this side right here, you haven't given others much of a chance to make a mistake. And when you avoid a mistake, that means that you're already taking that into consideration. You're looking, you're scanning ahead, and you're saying, you know what? If this Amazon Prime truck decides to move over, I'm going to be in trouble. If that somebody stops up ahead of me, if this traffic comes to a halt, I won't have time to stop. Yeah. Maybe I do, but it's way too close. And I'm saying, why make it so close? Are we just that fearful that somebody's going to take our space away?
Yeah, that's really a good question. I mean, we hear that from time to time, talk a driver. Well, if I have that space, they're just going to take it away. Well, if they're taking it away, chances are they're speeding up and they're pulling away from you as soon as they cut you off. I mean, unless they're idiots and they brake check you, that's what happens when you create that space. They get in front of you and they pull away from you. You're going a little bit slower than the flow of traffic.
Yep. As long as you continue to move forward, you're not losing that much time. And I think that's the point that we just have to remember. Don't focus so much on worrying about somebody stealing your space. If they do, give it to them and back up. Yeah. You're still moving forward. And Dale, I tell you, the struggle with this is that you get those that will say, well, but we're paid by the mile. And if we were paid by the hour, listen, safety doesn't matter for that. Because if you get into an accident, you've lost all of that anyway. Yeah. Perhaps even your license. Safety is safety, okay? You've got to continue to make decisions on that. And listen, you're not going to lose that time like you think. give it a shot. Give it up. Let that go. Give that space up. Increase it. My goodness.
Yeah, I mean, we talk about that. A great point, Rick. But the other thing they always, well, I'm always on time. Well, if you're always on time and you're unsafe getting there, it's going to catch up to you. It always does. It always does. So just, I love the thing that you want to be on time, but the bigger thing, I want you to be safe.
Yeah, on time is not a value. That's a priority. Yep. You're choosing to break rules to be on time. Values aren't the same thing as that. That's not a value. Nope. That's a priority. Next video, please.
Last one, no patience.
And here's we're going to see one. We have plenty of space here. Great video, plenty of space. We're underneath the speed limit by quite a bit, and then we see just that. A vehicle gets impatient and cuts off. But look, Rick, he's pulling away from us, and so I mean, really, the danger is very minimal there because the driver reacted, slowed down even a little bit more, and let that vehicle get away from him faster. So, I mean, just goes to show you have to have that situational awareness. Probably caught that driver coming up on his mirror, probably was reacting already and slowing down in this one. So just great job by the driver.
Yeah, and again, I'm going to say, some may look at this video right here and say, well, the driver of this truck should not have been in the left-hand lane. The driver's still making his appearance, he's going to be passing the truck on the right-hand lane. And it is a fine line. You know what? When you have that opportunity, you get out of that. You don't want to stay in the right lane until you're on the tail, right? So the driver has moved over to that left lane. We don't know how long he's in the left lane for, but let's just assume he's in there for that 15 seconds right there. He or she's going to pass his vehicle. The vehicle that passes us on the right-hand side needs to practice some patience. Yeah. You know what? We're going to get there. This doesn't make it right. You know what? If that truck in front of this truck stops, it's in trouble. Yeah. It's going to have to pull over way too quick. If, in fact, there's trouble up ahead, a blown tire, an accident, something happens to this truck on the right-hand side, the truck that's passing on the right, it's in a heap of trouble because that sucker's got to be going 85 miles an hour.
Yeah, he's getting after it.
Yeah,
So.
He's going 85. He's not going 75, the speed limit. He or she is going, this is an 85, at least 85. They're moving.
Getting it done. So, but yeah, I mean, just puts himself and a lot of other people in a very dangerous situation.
Yeah, we want to make sure that all of us out there are practicing patience. And again, I think we want to make sure we're being the leaders out there for our industry. We don't like to see that last one right there, but we also don't like to see the big truck running stop signs. We don't like to see the big truck running through intersections, running them red lights. I'll tell you, I was driving in today, this morning, and a bad accident right there on the service road at an intersection. Intersections are extremely dangerous. You don't take that chance on, you don't run red lights, right? You have to stop at stop signs. There are things that are under your control, and you've got to make sure that Dale, that you have the courage to put safety first.
Yep. To stop, protect those people behind you instead of trying to get on the intersection. You said, it's probably rush hour when you come in, and people just get in a hurry. You have to know that. That's one of those situational awareness. Hey, it's rush hour. People do more crazy things when they get in a hurry.
All the time. Our dear Heavenly Father, we thank you again for this day. We've seen some videos there, Lord, that just, again, it just shows that we've got to continue to practice some patience, to practice that ability to make that decision to create safety all around us. We just need your help in that, as this is a nationwide struggle. I mean, I just think that if we can just do this, that we can get these fatalities down to nothing. If we obey the rules, if we follow that, if we just put some put culture in our lives, our families' lives about safety, stopping when we can, not running through those intersections, following distance. Man, we just need your help and need your patience and need your guidance for all of those, and give us that ability to encourage, to teach, and to help one another. Ask all this in your Son's name we pray. Amen. Everybody, we'll see you. We're actually going to have some best ofs on Thursday and Friday, and we'll be back Monday. Okay, so be ready on Monday. We'll have some things. We'll be going over. So the normal BCB Live crew will be back. Vacations perhaps over, and we'll be back to being the BCB Lives. Until then, we'll see you and have a great, great day.